Good evening, everybody. We are here to see today's matchup. It will be Lostik on their third last game. Help English. English is a really hard language, but hey, I'm not here alone to tackle those hard situations. I got the wonderful Crincy with me. Hello.
Ah, hello also from my side. I am very grateful to be here and in the function of your English translator, of course, since there might be some language problems between the two of us. Either way, we are already ready with game number one between Team Wet and Lostik. And surprisingly, which might be a bit confusing for us, Team Wet is on blue side and Team Lostik is on red side.
Exactly. And as I already anticipated, the tool is sadly not working, but I got a small little workaround for just that. Just checking if this looks the way I want it to look, but I think that's totally alright. So yeah, Crincy, looking at the first bans, what do you think about the draft already?
I think it's pretty standard. I mean, especially like what I think is kind of weird is that the Team Red is actually using bans that I would expect from a wet side team, but they are called Team Wet, so it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, they're banning Jarvan, Orianna, Aatrox, stable picks from the World's Meta. Either way, I think you may have noticed, but the draft tool on your side is working right now, is it not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So might as well switch back either way. Speaking about this, bans from the wet side, from Lostik's side actually. Nico, well, and now Maokai being taken away, also meta champion that you see very often in any kind of level of play right now. So they are not really doing the typical thing that you expect like in Division 4, which would be like to ban away comfort champions. They are really just going to ban away what's currently meta. Although with some players it might just add up either way, right? They just play meta anyway all day, every day. And let's wait and see what they are picking. And it will be the Jace for the side of Team Red, and they have a Jace enjoyer for sure. I mean, there's this one player on their side that just likes all these poke champions, a Jace, a Dix, and he ends up playing Jace.
Exactly, and would you look at that, I can see the confidence in just the picking speed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about it, right? Just how quickly the Syndra and the Nocturne was locked in. And you know what, Crincy? I think those are super solid picks, especially if we look at the Nico and the Orianna ban.
They are in general, gotta say that Syndra is very weak in the early game right now, and she's potentially facing a Jace over there. So Lostek needs to be careful that they do not just pick too much of late game scaling and not enough early game prowess. So I would expect a bit more in the later picks they will show us in this draft, because Nocturne also, right? He kind of just wants to power farm until level 6 and then use the paranoia to really get into those fights. And beforehand, it might just be a bit of the honors on Team Red that they are not snowballing the game too hard. Otherwise, it could be a very troublesome mid game on their side. And I just gotta say, on side of Team Red, that's looking very powerful early on already, right? With Ziggs now also being locked in, another strong poke champion, and also the Vi as a follow-up for their jungle pick. Vi compared to Nocturne can jungle gank quite early already, and this is something that Team Lostik definitely needs to be careful about.
Oh, the absolute classic, but hey, it means we have more time to talk about draft. I had the exact same thing, and you know, if we are sitting in the client and we click on the little blue icon on the top left, it says champ select issue. So guys, yeah, it just happens, right? And still, we opened the box of Pandora in the Nocturne versus Vi matchup. Crincy, I could talk for hours about this matchup, because what you already touched, Vi pre-6 is the stronger gank champion, while Nocturne, believe it or not, is an insane duelist. He wins so many 1v1s, but ganking-wise, as you said, he needs his paranoia to gap close. So I think that matchup is a really interesting one. You know, maybe we can see a scuttle fight or something in the early game.
Yeah, we can, and I agree, Nocturne is a better duelist, but he also needs to be very careful about his Show of the Darkness timing, about the W that he uses, his Spell Shield. If he doesn't Spell Shield the Wall Breaker, it could get quite hard in the early game still, right? Because Vi then still is able to win those duels against the Nocturne. And also, Scuttle fights can be something that can be dangerous for side of Lostik, because as I mentioned before, right, they are already playing against Jace, against Ziggs. Considering the early priority, it's looking very good for Team Red so far.
Exactly. And of course, guys, don't forget, I will just mention it again. Team Red, no, we're not talking about Red Side. We're talking about the name Red. They chose Blue Side. Just don't you get confused. Maybe I just said that for myself as well, so I don't get confused. But hey, either way, we are back and we hope it works this time. We hope the issue is resolved. Else, we just blame Riot Games Spaghetti Client, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's new patch, new bugs will appear, and even if new bugs would not appear, it could just be an old bug anyway that Champion Select is not working for whatever reason. Either way, let's not talk about that small indie company. Let's cut them some slack, I gotta say. Either way, we see the Jarvan being banned away, which is no surprise, of course. We have seen the bans already. What we were lost at was the wet side pick number 3, I remember correctly. And
Yes.
they knocked in Syndra just now, and they didn't show their R3 pick yet, right?
Yes, yes. And again, something that I mentioned, but that we didn't really talk too much already, it always surprises me when teams are so quick to pick. To me, this means they have a good prep, and of course, you know, I have to let the fanboy out a little bit, you know. You see the coach thing down there, you know, Marv is preparing with them, and to me, this means the chase is not a surprise. Now, with Varus picked, it also kind of mean... Well, what does it mean, Crincy? Does it mean they are surprised by the Ziggs and the Vi?
I don't think they are. However, I mean, Geno is also a Ziggs player, and before it, I was like maybe in the back of my head thinking maybe it's actually a bot lane Syndra for the side of Geno, but Geno isn't really a Syndra player either, so the Varus is just to match the early game prowess of Team Red in some way, I gotta say. I mean, the Varus can definitely hold up against someone like a Ziggs in the bot lane for sure, and of course, Varus also has many adaptation possibilities, right? I mean, he can just go like an AP build, he could go an on it or crit build, or even go lethality, depending on what he really prefers over there. Considering Geno's overall champion pool and playstyle though, I would just expect a pretty regular DPS Varus build, so it would be either the crit or the on it version.
I mean, it also depends what you personally play with, and of course it depends how those compositions will be finished. I think a really... what do we call it? Like an overlooked aspect of League of Legends many times after the second ban phase. Like, yeah, of course, you still want to find counters, but I also feel like you want to find champions that fit your first 3 power picks. And now, of course, my question for you, Crincy. We already see kind of a poke and then also catch setup with YJ6. While on the other hand, I feel like we kind of see the same, right? With Syndra CC, Varus with his ultimate. So, yeah, what do you think about the identity of those teams so far?
Yeah, they're kind of similar. I definitely agree on that one. We see a lot of poke from both sides. You already touched on the point about like this pick potential these teams really give, and also like the Ornn kind of rounds out the composition in that side, right? Because if you play against poke and are poking yourself, you want to have some sort of front line, and Ornn is definitely one of those champions that definitely delivered that. And now we see on the other side Tahm Kench being locked in, which is also like a little bit of frontline for them. Still not really sure if it's going to be a top lane or support Tahm Kench. Considering the recent meta, however, it's 90% sure going to be the support Tahm Kench right now, as we have seen very few top lane Tahm Kenches recently. What I expect for top lane, we already saw the Jax Hover, that could be an answer, would be very good against the Ornn, but I could also see like something like a Sion for the side of Roxas, or is it actually Roxas playing? It's not. And yeah, we spoke too soon, right? We just spoke too soon. It is top lane Tahm Kench.
Very interesting. I just wanted to say, hey, this is the moment where somebody has to like open up Google Tahm Kench versus Ornn matchup statistics, and then look at Lolalytics or a similar site. And now, of course, we want to find some support to get the action going here, and everything is getting hovered. And it is, of all the champions, it is going to be the Bard with his special utility that he brings. Crincy, are you a Bard fan? I mean, he has like heals. Fun fact, I know Sadnov usually goes heals first and then goes like around all the lanes at level 1 and sets a heal on your lane. I mean, how cool is that?
That's very cool. I mean, I'm not really a Bard enjoyer myself, but I'm not really a support player after all. And I think Bard is like very hit or miss because you can really ruin your own AD carry's day to some extent, because you tend to just roam on Bard as he is collecting all the chimes over the map and is kind of forced to roam if he really wants to fulfill his unique selling point, right? And that can be very annoying for your own AD carry, especially if it's in a mobile one like the Varus. However, though, and that's kind of underlooked by Bard in general, is that he is a very strong damage support in the early game and in the laning phase in general, right? He just has so much damage with his empowered auto attacks, with the Q, with the cosmic binding, and the CC is also quite decent. The healing also making it easier, especially in poke lanes, and it is Varus against Ziggs, right? So he can do
Yes.
a lot of things in this lane phase in general, and with that setup, maybe it actually will be for Genu being the poke Varus, as he has been playing both of the item builds, or two out of the many item builds that Varus can really play around. Uh, he is definitely proud to play multiple of those.
Exactly. I mean, we have also seen some Varus players like in competitive. Of course, it wasn't like yesterday or anything, but I've also seen some people go for like 1 or 2 lethality items and then still, going for like Phantom Dancer into Infinity Edge or something like that, so they can still bring the pain. And hey, of course, I don't want to get you guys too hyped up, but have you seen the new items with this like light and shadow item where if you have a lot of attack speed, you get kind of tankiness, and yet you get penetration, magic, and attack or like normal damage. And on Varus, like, the Kog'Maw, the Varus players, they are. I imagine they are having a field day. But either way, it is for sure not yet going to be this Varus because we are still not in the new season. And now, of course, Quincy, we also have to have a look at the bigger picture. So, obviously, top lane, there shouldn't be too much action going on, or am I totally wrong there?
Should not be too much action, gotta say though, especially in the first few levels. Tahm Kench has a lot of kill pressure as a top lane champion, because in the long lane he can absolutely run you down with his sticky tongue and just eat you up later if he actually hits level 6. And Ornn in general for tank has surprisingly a lot of kill pressure, and also a good way to play against the wave itself, so forcing priority would be a very decent possibility for the side of the Ornn on Lostik side, so that might actually help the Nocturne to really secure these early Scuttle Crabs a little bit easier. And overall though, a bit more scaling on the side of Lostik, I would say. I mean, Tahm Kench definitely falls off as a top lane champion, as he definitely doesn't really hold up damage-wise later on and can get kited quite easily. As the Jace also, while not being as bad late game as he used to be, because Jace used to be like one of these early game king champions that really falls off late game, since there were like items like the new lethality items, Cyril's Squatch, Muamana's being key on him. He falls off pretty late, but Syndra is such a beast in the late game, so I would still say he falls off a little bit. And Ziggs is not really matching a late game AD carry in the general sense, I would say. So there's definitely some edge for the side of Lostik in the late game. And we already talked about the Nocturne Vi matchup at Nergem, I gotta say, with Nocturne definitely being favored after the early game. If he happens to go out of this evenly, and the Ornn items would also play their part later on, gotta say, so we definitely need to be careful that there is not an early game snowballing coming out on the side of Team Red. And I gotta say, right, this group is very stacked in general, and also very close together. But every team has dropped some random games, and every team also won some random games, so anybody can basically beat anybody.
Exactly. Of course, we have to state the obvious here. We have to be realistic. Yes, Lostik should have the win because Team Red is in the last spot today. But hey, as Team Red player, you are super motivated to not stay on the last spot, because if you do, you will just straightly demote, no when and ifs, you are just going to demote straight. If you get a few more wins though, you have a chance to not be on the last spot, but be on spot number 7, number 6, and then you can still play playoffs. So for Lostik, it is super important because you can still get into playoffs if you win those. Yeah, we still have 3 games, as we mentioned earlier, and of course the final boss will be Ace on the last day on Sunday. But until then, banger indeed. But until then, we still have to get every single win we can, and I know I'm just repeating myself, but don't forget, Red, they also want every single win they can get. That's why Prime League can be so entertaining, for both teams, even though, one team is kind of in the middle right now, the other team is on the last spot. For both of them, the wins are so important.
Yeah, you said, but for Lostik, it's still 3 games, but it's not 3 games, right? It's the number 3. It's not like the word for Liberty. So it's definitely a hard road ahead for them, despite them having a favorable matchup right now against Team Red, of course. And Team Red definitely a team that can do some damage in the early game here. So let's wait and see how this will really play out between those two teams. Definitely very exciting team competitions all around. I'm glad to see Tahm Kench top lane back again, because while it is an annoying pick in general, right? I kind of missed it a little bit because if you haven't seen it like for like a year or two, you kind of just want to see it again.
Wait, do you? I mean, I want to see, I don't know, I want to see Irelia, I want to see all those action packed. Nah, jokes aside, we have talked a little bit about the draft, and, one side has to be weak side. Your jungler can't be on both sides simultaneously. And, of course, even more important, keep it in mind, guys, this level 6 in this game, for Boom and for a 3-star general, if they hit their paranoia or if they hit their cease and desist, they want to gank mid or top lane, and who knows, maybe a surprise gank on top lane even.
Yeah, but just got not said it, right? I mean, if they hit the season desist, you cannot really miss that ability, right? It is a targeted ability. You can only really miss it if you just die mid-air, which can happen to some Vi players. Speaking for a friend, of course. That obviously never happened to me. Yeah. First, I didn't know that it was possible because Vi is unstoppable, but actually, Death stops her quite well. Yeah.
Yeah. I meant hitting it, aka getting level 6, but
Yeah. I'm just making fun.
I know.
Actually, to be fair, then if you try to Vi ult the Nocturne, he could spell shield it. But you probably don't want to Vi ult the Nocturne anyway, so different topic all around. I mean, and also one thing that I want to mention right now, Geno actually chose the lethal tempo route, so we will definitely not see a poke virus here.
In my head, I'm already asking myself the question, what happens if you are like eaten by your Tomkench and then the Bard decides to hit his R button? Do you like stay in there for the entire duration or do you just get spit out, because the timer continues? Maybe we will find out through this game.
Yeah, we might. I don't think it matters either way because I mean stasis is stasis. But it would look really funny, of course, if you are like mid devourer process, and then you get like a golden, and you just see like the open tongue, and then there's a body rolling in, and that's like where the stasis is happening. Would be very funny. I think the devourer process will complete afterwards anyway. But yeah, maybe we will see this game and find some new research material for later.
Definitely time to do some research, guys. And you know what is really surprising me? Have you seen Nocturne's pathing? Because we all talked about the early game from the junglers, will they gank somewhere? Will they find a duel somewhere? Will they fight Scuttle? Boom, he started Raptors, and then he went into his bottom side, and now he's at red buff. What is he doing? Explain it to me.
He's cooking for sure. I mean, he's just now going for his full clear. And considering the push from Tahm Kench, I mean, the first few levels were definitely respectable by him. It is actually a way, if Bockwurst ban is overextending there, Nocturne could actually go for a very early Nocturne gank, which is something that's usually not happening. But I mean, Nocturne, if he's level 3, I mean, he still has a Duskbringer, he has a bonus movement speed, there's some damage onto it, unspeakable hover. That's like once you see maybe quite some damage on him, so that could be enough to get the kill or at least get the flash out of him.
Yeah, definitely. So we can see 3-star general on bottom side, we can see Boom on the top side. Maybe it was kind of an adaptation to just get this Scuttle really early. And again, I'm not too sure why he did this, but hey, you don't really need a backboard. You are a super fast clearer, even without the long swords. Of course, 3-star general, he does the more casual, normal approach. And yeah, Sednov also is doing the casual Bard gaming, right? I hope he's listening to some synthwave music or something, and just roaming across the river. That's what he's doing. While, of course, I have to close the entire thing. 3-star general is already on the Sheen. And by the way, I don't like that early buy. I prefer AD.
AD is pretty good. I mean, he likes the spell shield apparently. And if I saw it correctly, it was actually the Nocturne just farming the Raptors for the second time already, right before recalling. So he's definitely very well farmed over there. Already completing the Iron Spike whip, which is basically like what old Tiamat is. This is also makes me excited for preseason, right? Because the Tiamat active is coming back, right? So you don't even need Iron Spike whip anymore. I'm so happy to see old items again. Like also old Liandry's, right? You don't need the mana part anymore, so you can build a Mordekaiser and some stuff.
Yeah, that is absolute super omega hype. But hey, again, this game is on the old patch, and Geno, he's not too hype right now because he had to use his flash and trade it against the Ignite, and even then, he probably has to backboard here because this looks scary. Do you like the Ziggs so far in the bot lane, Quincy?
Yes, but also no. I mean, he's behind in farm a little bit, but that's 2v2 play just now, mostly facilitated by small Suzy 69 on the Leona was definitely a good
His
choice by
name
them.
though.
And yeah, and Geno definitely misstepping a little bit, right? He probably did not want to eat that Zenith blade, and now he has to pay the price for it. Has to stay around low HP, just farming this wave. Alternative would be what you just now suggested, right? Just recalling with the wave being all the way in, and that's something that you also do not really want. So now with the 6 potentially hitting level 6 very soon. It could just be a kill window on towards the Varus, and it could be very dangerous for the side of Geno. But just now, already a small reward for Mr. Malibu, and that's the first turret plating.
Did you just say this level 6 for this? Oh my god, this gets even better and better. And I have to say, I don't know if I agree with Boom showing up on top side. I mean, he's trying to get Prio to then maybe look for the invade, so, it is kind of decent, I guess. But bot lane, I mean, let's be honest here, Crincy. If your Ornn is ahead or behind or whatever, of course it's always nicer to be ahead, but I really want to see the big gold chunks on Poro with Cookie on the Syndra and on Genu with the Varus, right?
Absolutely, and also like the gank didn't really, or the showing didn't really result in anything, right? Bogfors Bern did neither use his flash, lose his life, or lose any sort of HP, and he's just dominating the lane anyway. He wasn't really feeling threatened by the Nocturne showing up, and he just gave information for free to the enemy team, where Freestar General might just pressure the bot side of the map, which was already being pressured either way, so it's definitely not an easy time for the side of Genu and Sadnov right now. However, I just see the minimap, Boom is having some fun. Meanwhile, top lane. This is not looking too hot. The first one is happening. Solo kill for the side of Bogfors Bern.
Oh
I'm
my
not sure if you are
god.
still around. Here you are, of course.
I
Noel
am,
coming
of
out.
course. I was just holding my breath right there, as I didn't want to believe it. I usually think about top lane, especially
speechless.
Yeah, after level 6, I think about it like pool noodles, and I was like, no way he just kills him. I can let you cast this one, nothing's really happening there, but he just killed him, and I'm quite shook, honestly. I did not expect this at all.
I kind of want you in draft, right? Time catch early
That
game,
is
very
true.
strong. Yeah.
That is
And
true.
also all having a surprising amount of priority in kill push in the early game. So at least at this stage of the game, these tanks can fight each other quite heavily. And also they both have percent HP max damage, right? So they still hurt each other quite a lot.
I'm honestly, I have to play some more top lane there. I was so sure that the Nocturne is going to ult before this fight is going to be over, but hey, I mean, I can't blame myself too much because Frolimo also underestimated the damage from the top Genji.
I mean, absolutely, he still has his flash up, right? I mean, there must have been one point of time in this surprisingly not so wet noodle fight where he could just use a flash and just dodge at least like one tongue lash or something, or just flash out of the range for the Devour. And he just chose not to because he didn't expect so much damage coming out. Also, maybe using the flash to just bait out the Nocturne gank coming in would maybe be more ideal in this case. And he kind of didn't find an ideal timing for it, or just didn't expect the damage straight up. As we see the Herald fight coming in.
Yeah, talking about ideal timings, red
Steal.
team, and I mean Nocturne of course steals the Herald here. Setnov flashing away will probably the first one to fall in this fight. Yes, Setnov back to base. Boom also looking kind of low. They got the Herald though, but how many will fall here? Poro with Cookie can maybe find the chase here. Indeed, no problem. Has to flash out though. And of course, on bot lane, this is also the moment to just say, let's go, Mr. Malibu, finding so much damage with the super mega death inferno bomb here. I don't think we can call it any other way because it deals so much damage.
It's just Mega Inferno Bomb. I mean, it would be super deaf if Geno would maybe just step into one more Arcane Comet or something, because then he would absolutely die. Either way, he still has his heal up, so he's definitely fine for now, and probably very ready on this heal button to use it in case there's a very close 1v1 yet again. Speaking about not so close 1v1s,
Oh
he's the 1v1 yet again.
He wants to flash over the wall.
There you go.
Never mind. The Nocturne is on the other side of the map. Yummy. 3 Yordles with some extra spicy explosion. We take those.
Absolutely, and overall, like on the map, it's Lostik trading even or slightly ahead, and they are the scaling competition, right? Before it, when I saw the Herald fight, and them actually stealing the Herald, and then Pro with Cookie getting 2 takedowns in this one. It was actually Poe with Cookie, in my opinion, just kind of saving the game at this point of the game, because otherwise, if they just lose the Herald there and also the fight, it could just end in a very snowballing game for the side of Team Red. Their early game is very impressive. I mean, you see this Tahm just slapping out the Ornn so badly, and it's definitely not looking easy for that one. If they had one Herald additionally to that one, and the Cinder wouldn't really get online, it would be a small disaster, I gotta say, especially with bot lane also working so well, and then having Herald charge and Ziggs passive potentially for the first turret. It could be very, very dangerous, and all these little things, just with Poe, with the Cookie's play, and also the gank bot lane, that is so stabilizing for Team Lostik.
Oh, definitely. And also, the first dragon went into the bag of Team Red, but now the second dragon, it looks like Lostik, they kind of gained some interest here. And yeah, of course, mid lane priority is an important thing when we are talking about dragons. Will Star General be there in time? Nope. He will not be there to outsmite our friend Boom. So this means it is 1-1 in dragons now, and the Hextech gates, they are activating.
Yeah, aber Poe with Cookie is getting targeted here, and it's...
Yep, and there Poe with Cookie, not much happening. This is what we talked about, right? If you are on one of those junglers, you decide to kill somebody, he's just dead.
Yeah, I mean, it was also a flashless Cinder, right? It's a very easy target for the Vi and Jace especially. I mean, especially this early in the game where she doesn't have any sort of resistances, also not really getting the stopwatch yet, which would be something that she can't really get anymore in a few weeks when the preseason is hitting. Many players are happy about that, I gotta say. And for now, I mean, Poe with Cookie still having a great game overall, I gotta say. I checked his inventory recently. He was already on 60 Splinter stacks, so he's halfway through in completing his Cinder stacks, and he is getting an absolute menace if he completes those, regardless of how his kill score or anything is looking like. But that was a small misstep on his side, which means right now, after 12 minutes of gameplay, game is kind of even, right? Only 200 gold between those two teams, 1 break apiece. It couldn't be closer in this regard, but we already invested in draft and also in the game right now. Lostik is scaling very, very well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Ornn and Syndra, they are known for good scaling, and I would have been a little bit scared if Genu, you know, would have gone for, oh well, that was not really a tempered fate, that was just a missed fate. Yeah, Genu going for some attack speed shenanigans, and of course with those you're scaling really well. Still, we cannot forget the Jace and Ziggs picks from Red, because if you can get out some poke, and of course both teams have a lot of poke, but with Genu being an on-hit menace here, I kind of feel like the poke game is in favor of Red. Mid lane, oh my god, look at his Boom, just finding a kill here. Bockwurst Bernd, he's maybe looking for a knock-up, but he will not find it. Never mind. No, he will not. Sadnov just too sneaky.
I mean, you were just saying it. You aren't lying to us, right? He won't find a knock-up, so he actually won't find him. You could just predict the future over there, which did not happen for the side of 3-star general, right? That wall breaker was a bit paper, I gotta say. Like, just in the open space, using his Q offensively, where there's so many people potentially being around, especially you know that you're playing against a Nocturne. One paranoia, the whole team collapses, and also collapsing is what 3-star general does. So one free kill gives it away to the side of Lostik. The Herald charge also hitting in for some turret plate money. So now all of a sudden, it's 1k lead for the side of Lostik already.
And the important thing is to consider where is the lead. But first of all, we will have some action on bot lane. Sadnov and Boom, they are looking for something. They are getting the TP from Bockwurst Bernd. Meanwhile, 3-star General was also looking for a gank on a mid lane, and he ate away Poro with Cookie's flash. And now can we defend the bot lane turret? The knock-up, the bomb, Genu taking a lot of damage. And the frog, Bockwurst Bernd with his tongue, looking for terror on bot lane, while Frolimo, you know, he's casually stripping away some of those turret HP. And I honestly, why is he dealing so much damage, bro? Quincy, are you a top lane main, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
One Duke Pony.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
it's demolish mostly. I mean, he just deals damage with his HP bar, basically, so definitely hurting. And I'm not speaking about current HP, I'm speaking about max HP, so that all of the Abyssal Mask Rush already hitting like a truck towards his turrets if he gets off his Demolish proc, which of course is a decent cooldown, but still, he could get one off over there. It wasn't as casually as you described, because it was actually Dykes and warming up to the top lane to defend this wave, so there was a little bit of room in the mid lane, but the Ziggs push was very, very strong. TP forced off by the side of Bog was Bernd, but they definitely at least got some use out of it on the side of Team Red, getting this first turret bonus for them. them, and also decent plating money. If I recall correctly, that was still in the time frame. And now they still have priority over the second Herald, which might be something Lostik wants to fight over. I think they would be fine to give it away, but Lostik doesn't agree with me. They just want to fight it anyway.
Nope, lights are out, and of course they want some kills because Nocturne jumped onto the 6. This means he will not be there to smite the objective. Ornhorn will be blown, and their double knock-up. 3-star general, he's still super squishy. He's in the belly. Nobody is dying so far. LK Boom will be the first one to fall. Aggressive Vi ultimate here, and it is just not enough to find the kills against Team Red. And guys, this is what I was talking about. One more is alive, and it is going to be Sadnov, the last one to fall. Triple kill for the Jace. And Quincy, that was what I was talking about. Every win matters, and Red, they are making it count right now.
Absolutely, I mean, this is 5-0 plus the Herald plus turrets right now, and I think Coach Marf would not be happy if he was seeing this play in the live gameplay. So that's definitely something that was absolutely unnecessary. Like, the only win Team Red really has is striking in this early to mid game, where they are still strong. They definitely had a good positioning on this play, and they are just collapsing so beautifully on this. Getting this Herald as well, that was almost 2 turrets falling in the mid lane already, and this is now, all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, more than 3,000 gold lead for them. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, you're saying no apparent reason, but let's be honest, this fight was a super close one, but Team Red, they just played it a little bit better. As you said, there was no reason to really take this fight, but Lostik, they were confident, and in the end, they were punished for their confidence. I still think it is a winnable game though, but it is, of course, in the hands of Team Red to just bring this entire thing back into the game.
And I just say it again, right? You could have just given that Herald, right? It's just second Herald. I mean, of course, with Dix and with Jace, it definitely hurts. You probably lose a turret or this one, but you were losing the turret anyway. So now you kind of gave away the 5 kills for free and possibly the Drake. You could have traded this Herald for at least a wave or 2, or even setting up for this wave. As you see the paranoia playing out.
Yes.
Potentially.
Boom will just trade kills here, but it is a shutdown. I was just hyping up the triple kill from Red Dykser, and now Poro with Cookie. He was looking hungry and he got himself DJ's shutdown here. So yeah, but still, if we have a look at the gold, it doesn't really seem to change anything.
I mean, it's a little bit on the W side for the side of Lostik, I gotta say. I mean, of course, trading 1 for 1 from behind is good, trading 1 for 1 with scaling comp is good, and they have the Syndra on their side, which also gets like some Splinter stacks on this exchange alone. She's now sitting on more than 90 already, so there is like some hope on my side that Poe with Cookie will actually just be able to delete someone as soon as he hits that sweet number 100 on the Splinter stack, as he then gets the execute threshold on his unleashed power, which could be detrimental to anybody really, because I mean, it's good for the squishies of course, because you can just somewhat 100 to 0 someone straight up, but especially against tanks, right? If you drop someone from like 20% HP to like 40% HP, they instantly just die, they plop up, and this is where you really like get the most value out of this ability in general. So nobody will be really safe against Power Wave Cookie, even with the gold lead that they have.
And I even talked to him about his mage builds, and to me, like, guys, let's highlight the Cosmic Drive real quick. Guys, please don't fight, you know, there's no objective, or please chill for a second. He is going for Cosmic Drive, and yes, of course, it has 100 ability power, but he told me he usually goes for this if he feels like he just wants to be a CC bot, you know, if he just wants to have all the abilities up, and of course his choice of boots, Ionian Boots of Lucidity, also just undermines this statement. So while I'm talking, Bockhorst Baron is not letting Frolimo go, but Frolimo can't even reactivate his ultimate here, but he got out.
Yeah, very clutch setup by Frolimo. I think if he doesn't set up this one, he will just get CC'd again. The passive damage ticks up again onto him, and there is an angle for Bockhorst Baron to just flash onto him or just devour him, or maybe even just use the next Abyssal Dive onto him. There's like so much stickiness on this Tahm Kench pick, even without an Iceborne Gauntlet or anything, he can just easily make sure of that one.
Meanwhile, bot lane. Okay.
That's another pick.
This is the combo we wanted to see, but we have a...
He's on 100 right now.
Yeah, we have a lot of blue HP bars running onto bottom lane, but now Frolimo is there with a TP. Of course, LK Boom, no chance to do anything. Genu just getting slapped by the tongue on max range here. The bomb not connecting. He is going golden. Beautiful stun setup here by Sednov. 3-star trying to retaliation trade. He will find a kill. Shmol Suzy 69 is here on the bot lane and probably first death for the Leona here. Never mind, the flash is going to save everything, and Sednov somehow has to get out of this. Oh no, what a dodge from 3-star general, really well played by him. Frolimo, maybe with the Hexagate or something, I'm not sure. He cannot get out here, and this is yet another ace for Red.
Yeah, another ace for the side of Team Red, and it was just again the carries dying pretty early, and in this tank bruiser slugfest, it is just Team Red coming out on top with the Tahm-Kench doing so much damage. He's not basically an assassin and a tank at the same time in these kind of skirmishes. His weakness is getting kited, but if he just gets the first CC spell on towards Geno can't really kite him out anymore. He's getting sniped away with a Tanglish on the side of Bokvos Bernd, who's really having maybe the performance of his life right now. It is a Baron being started by Team Red already. Got a Thezu, boom, is alive again. He doesn't have paranoia, however, so he probably can't get in range. Bokvos Bernd, man.
Will he survive somehow? But hey, of course it is nice if they survive, but the main thing here is, yeah, they got a kill. Cool, we take those. Even a shutdown on the Froggo. But still, Nasher went into the hands of Team Red. And this is looking really tough. Even though it is just a 4k gold difference, it feels like so much more.
It feels like 10k or something. Either way, it is a Baron being traded away. You just get one pick. It is a shutdown, you have to invest it. Also some stacks of power with Cookie, but he's not on the full stacks. As we see another pick coming out. Boom, also wasting his paranoia. Why are you forcing this so hard? This drag is gone, just accept your loss.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his team can make stuff happen. Two-man knockoff from Frolimo. He tries to get some spacing here. He tries to find some time for his team. But Genu and Poro with Cookie, they have to be so careful. Because again, I genuinely think they have the damage, but they need to get in range. And this is just impossible right now. So this Dragon and the Soul Point in this sense will go over to Team Red as well. They are just winning the map across the board.
They are, and you just have to give the drag away. I mean, you just know this guy pretty much. They have the damage, but they can't really get in range. Also, they only have the damage to kill like 1 or 2 people, in my opinion, because this definitely need everything that Pro with Cookie right now has. Genu's damage is decent, but he doesn't really get to free hit on anything, as he's also only on 1.5 items, while the Dix is on 2 full items, and also having a bit of a range advantage considering his spells against like the auto attacks from Varus itself is not really looking good for the Varus. I mean, it's not a poke Varus who would have like a bit more range, so he's definitely hurting in this regard. As Pro with Cookie, he's used the scatter of the week very well here. But of course, he needs to be careful because the Syndor can absolutely blow him up with the ultimate ability. And I'm not sure if shields matter here. They do. That was a very early ult, but he might still die.
Are you kidding me? How close is this? He will get interrupted here, and Poro with Cookie will find the kill. Shmol Suzy 69 here trying to find some CC onto Poro with Cookie. He is so low. He finds some CC himself though, and now the paranoia is coming in. It is a Blade Nocturne and he deals so much damage. Shmol Suzy, the only survivor here, the only one running away. Dijkser and Bokvos Bernd, they already died, and Shmol Suzy will just follow them into the gray screen. Mr. Malibu, he will gently sidestep this ultimate. I was really worried for him there, but we have to mention it. Ziggs and his turret demolition skills, they pay off right now.
They do, but you just now had a kind of split pushing Y in the mid lane because he just had nothing else to do really. And Bokvos Bernd said it before, right? He's kind of overforcing it right now, not rewarding himself for the strong game he's in general playing here. Just trying to get the Syndor so badly, playing 1v2 against her and the Bard, ending up dying over there, and then the rest of the team trying to avenge him with Leona and Jace also falling as well to the damage that Lostik still has in the composition. And this is giving Lostik some very valuable time to scale into this game. We also already see the unspoken Parasite on the side of the Ornn, so the first upgrade being there, with him upgrading his Juxus protein. And it's just a 3000 gold lead, and the 3000 gold at 25 minutes is not meaning that much.
Oh lord, Geno, he will not die here. The heal was used, but still it is a very tough position to be in, and Star General can just finish him off. Meanwhile, Boom, he is strong, but he's not strong enough to handle 3 people all on his own. He looks not strong enough quite yet. I'm not too sure what items he is really going for next, probably Black Cleaver, but I don't even think he can get to any point in this game where he will be strong enough to take those 1v1s. But on the other side, Red, they are just looking so strong right now.
And they have a 6, so if there's like one more death on the side of Lostik, there might just be a finish angle on their side. I mean, the Bows is a very important part considering the wave clear. If they drop Syndra, it might just be game over. Bockwurst Bernd might just have overstepped yet again, though. His team isn't really helping him out, and Power with Cookie can just get another kill. Power with Cookie is like the lifeline on the side of Team Lostik right now. If he's alive, Lostik still has hope.
100%. And you guys see me always checking the cooldowns, and it is only 50 seconds on the unleashed power. So while, yes, of course, you just used it for a tank, if he is going to, you know, just walk up to you again, you will have the ultimate up again as well. So you cannot really just force something, you know. Princey, sometimes you're saying like, hey, they used the ult for me. Once I'm back up again, we can just fight. But no, Poro with Cookie, he has basically no cooldown on this spell, and that is really important. So I also start to get his item build, right? How much ability haste does he even have?
Yes.
He is
the answer is yes.
Oh.
Well, 100 or something?
Come on. I want to see.
I cannot be.
Almost 100.
98.
98. Oh, look
Yeah,
at that. Beautiful.
Nice estimation. And I mean, I can check myself, but I just gotta say, and you need to believe me, I didn't check before saying that. I did like, must be around 100, and then I checked. Either way, it's a lot, and he's not building XMR exactly, so maybe give him more ultimate reset and team fights, but just kidding, of course he's going even more AP. Looks like Sonya's Hourglass will be his next purchase, as he is getting even more of this build. He has more utility to just be able to just deny another key spell as a teamfight is still starting.
Lights out, and Nocturne, he's trying to kind of go for a peel moment here. Maybe with the double hit on the Bard ultimate, on the Tempered Fate, Sednov using his portal to get his team out of the action. Pro with Cookie looking for the mid lane push. And guys, it is so important. Can you somehow get in? But the answer is no.
Oh.
Mr. Malibu and Dykser, they have so much damage, and you cannot get through this choke point, even though there are portals like the Arcane Hextech Gate portals and the Bard portal. You cannot get in there, and this means Dragon will go over to Team Red, and they have soul.
Yeah, and that corridor was like the worst point of anything that you can basically play against a Poker fight. I mean, it's so easy to just aim your skill shot in this direction. You don't really need hands basically to really just hit a skill shot over there, as you're making it so easy for the side of Team Red to really get this Hextech Soul. It's the strongest soul arguably in the game overall, so also a soul that's very great for poker positions, right? The Jace can just hit an empowered shock blast, get the extra damage from the Hextech soul detonation, and that applies a 90% slow, which is such an insane difference. You can basically use a Jace QE combination to engage. It's so disgusting, right? It's just so safe, right? Basically no risk on your own side aside from that very short cooldown in general. Here, Geno, if Dykser knows that Geno's alone, he might just walk up to him and kill him over there.
Yeah, that might be the play, but you know what? Maybe catching Bockwurst Bernd that is a little bit too overcomfortable here is also a really good play. The bomb will only damage Poro with Cookie, and I'm surprised how little damage that dealt, but yeah, Poro with Cookie, he is the main carry again, don't forget it. Ornhorn maybe for the engage, but it's a little bit far. Boom, he will be turned on. Tempered Fate, putting a breather on that fight, and Geno is nowhere to be seen if we don't have the damage, so Poro with Cookie is against the world with his team as a frontline. Only Dykser died so far, so it is still, Bockwurst Bernd as well earlier, of course. It is 3 members, really well played here by Poro with Cookie. He has to play like an absolute mad lad here. Sednov trying to flash out here, Poro with Cookie hitting the damage, Star General shielding himself, and there is the shutdown from Mr. Malibu. The range is just a big advantage, and it is just too much. Geno, there might be even more problems. There might be more problems here, Geno. He looks dead to me, he looks dead to you. And this is such a tough state to be in. But I don't know, it kind of feels like this game should be in Red's hands.
It absolutely is in Red's hands when they're still like keeping the lead. They're like, having the Hextech still. They're also getting this Baron, and Team Lostik is playing it too hasty. I mean, Boom uses Paranoia a bit preemptively, and then he still could have opted out just not to use the dash on the Paranoia, but he still wanted to use the dash and just combine it with like the Tempered Fate of the Bard to, I think, single out a mem and then just instantly kill him, but that didn't really work out in his favor. He was the one that instantly died on this play, and I think the Tempered Fate and also the Dust Blade activation from the side of Dijkser made it so that he actually managed to get out alive quite easily in the situation. So it was just Poe with Cookie and Sadnov in this situation, just really getting all these small skirmishes and trying to get an early pick out of this.
God.
And even if Pog was bad dying, it didn't work on their favor at all. But now Dijkser's down.
We are talking about permanently Paranoia and dashing. It is happening again. It starts strong, but of course at this part of the map, the team members from Team Red are just closer. So this means, yes, of course, you were able to shove out mid lane, Frolimo and Geno together, but we lost Boom and we lost Cookie. If I take a step back, I just feel like this composition is a bit too tough to execute. I can see the thought process. I can also see Bockwurst Baron maybe dying from this play because the only person really, oh my, are you kidding me? What is going on? I'm so confused. Why is this Tahm Kench looking so strong? Look at the Mr. Froggo here. He is doing so much work. Frolimo closely surviving this. But yeah, a lot of action there. Crincy, I really have to I don't know. I need a top lane crash course from you. Honestly.
I mean, this Tahm Kench is basically full damage, right? He has a hard seal of over 560 stacks. He has a Abyssal Mask, which also has a damage amplification. He has a Barmy Cinder, and he actually has a Demonic Embrace. So if he actually gets melee range against the Varus and gets to Lank's Tongue Leash, this Varus is absolutely screwed. He can't get out at all. Also, like the Hex stack sold doing its part, I guess, to really amplify the damage even a little further. And he is super tanky, and his weakness in getting kited, if that is like witched over, he can just absolutely demolish basically anybody in his way.
So much damage again by the Ziggs, by the range poke, and of course by the Dragon Soul as well. And getting slowed just means getting hit by more poke, and this means getting slowed again, and this means getting hit by more range spells. And it is a tough first game. Of course, you need to have a last stand. Some Boom trying to go in there. He's trying to just find some time for his team, trying to then run away. 3-star General might just be on the resurrecting end with the Guardian Angel. Of course, Mr. Malibu with Zonias just tanky enough to not die. And Poro with Cookie, he has been the hero all game long, but he was not strong enough. And Crincy, I feel like we can talk so much about this game. It was such an interesting game, but first we have to call it. This is the first win for Team Red in today's series.
Yeah, and Team Red kind of showing that basically anybody can beat anybody in this group. They are the last place team. They are playing. I mean, Lostik, if they had a good day and if they have a good remainder of the split, they are looking to claim like the second place. But with this performance just now, they absolutely do not look like they claim the second place of this group, which is of course very important for the playoff implications. Top 3 makes playoff, the others do not, or even play against relegation or get directly relegated, which is of course looking very unlikely for Lostik. I think it might just be even mathematically impossible to get automatically relegated in this side. But this second herald just now, this game, was maybe like the most expensive second herald of all time.
Oh yeah. This was the first nail in the coffin, you know, and then every minute later there was another nail getting hammered in. And I feel like Team Red, instead of a hammer, they just took the Tahm Kench. Okay, you know, Crincy, don't get me wrong. I know Ornn and Tahm Kench, they are strong early game laners. I know from like level 1 to 5 and with level 6 and everything, you have to respect them. But was it only the itemization from Tahm Kench carrying him damage-wise into the late game? Or, you know, would he not deal any more damage in late game if he wouldn't go for this kind of aggressive itemization? Or like, what happened there?
I think if he doesn't go like this item build in the late game, like he would still like chunk out Geno, but Geno would only just go to like 30% HP and then maybe even cut it off with the Blade of the Rune King. But with this item build with like Hard Steel and the Demonic, he actually has enough damage to like one rotation devours before he can properly react to it. So I think the item build made a difference for sure in this sense, in the positive way for him. But also, what I really want to highlight is a different thing. It is Bog was Bernd actually playing so aggressively and playing it properly in these situations to actually get those picks. If he wouldn't get those, it would be a whole different game.
Okay, so can we also pinpoint this? I mean, not the entire game, but let's point at least at top lane. Is this one of those cases, have you ever heard about the concept of like imperfect balance, where you just balance things? They are not good per se, but if you never face them and you don't have any experience against them, then they start to become good. Because, I mean, I was surprised, Frolimo was surprised, and I know, guys, everybody in chat is Challenger, but maybe some of you were also surprised how this Tomkench just killed him. Again, he didn't even flash. So, do you think, would it work a second time, though? That's like the big question.
I think it probably won't. So, I'm really not getting my hopes that this will eat. I mean, the thing is, Marth is like, I only know him as a player, basically, and not as a coach, but I think he is humble enough to like accept either we have an answer in our gameplay or in our draft for the second game, or we just ban it away. I don't think they really fumble on this one. So I think for game 2, there won't be a Tahm Kench top lane carry performance by Bogfors Bernd. No matter where.
Okay. Either way, yes.
One way or the other, it will be countered. Either by just giving it the ban-hammer, or by actually countering it on the Rift. Or maybe even pick it away for like, what's his name, sorry? For our support, for Setnov.
Oh yeah, I mean...
Just to deny it, maybe.
Also,
actually, catch for the Varus from Genu wouldn't be bad.
That is true. We also saw the Senna hover, maybe Senna Tomkench, and then just, use the enemy's own poison. Still, I also, like, my first question would be, I've also been in the coaching business for a little bit, right? So, like, my first question would be, okay, Frolimo, was it, like... Oh, no, I have to take a different angle, because... Don't talk about the past, talk about the future, I would ask him, hey, if you play the same matchup again, are the deaths that you had in the first game, are they avoidable in a second game? And honestly, I feel like it's a big question about, are you, tilted a little bit? Are you scared a little bit from the pick? Or are you telling yourself, okay, I know the damage now, I faced it and I misjudged it, just like everybody else did. But maybe you're telling yourself, hey, I'm fine against it now. And of course, we've only been talking about the top lane matchup. Do you think, while talking about it, was the top lane matchup like the big game decider, or did it not really matter anyways?
I think it was definitely one of the game deciders. I gotta say though, in general, like Team White had a very good early game, and they basically weren't really behind for any of it. I mean, of course, it's also kind of comp dependent, but they definitely played it out well. And the second Herald fight absolutely crushed it. But also before it, like Tahm Kench had a lead that he transitioned from the top lane with his TP. That was actually an ill-fated TP initially to the bot lane, with them just spontaneously deciding to really sync it up with like pushing, threatening a dive, and then just going for Ziggs satchel, taking the turret, and then snowballing the bot lane from there. Bot lane, of course, in the 2v2 was already working well in general, so that also played a part. And also, Dykes had a very good chase game, but I think like if I had to like pick an MVP performance of that game, it would absolutely be Bogfors Bernd on Tahm Kench. So he was not only winning his lane, but also transitioning his lead very well. He had a few steps, of course, where he overstepped, but like if I have to give everyone a grade, he would get the highest grade of all of them.
That is true. He basically took, he won top lane by surprise. Literally. Yeah. And yes, he did overstep sometimes, but I feel like it was already too late at that point, right? Like, when he overstepped and he died, damage was already being done, because then Ziggs was already on 2 items, while Genu on the Varus was on only 1 item, and a situation like that is super, super tough. But still, you get it, like, we have so much to talk about just from this first game, and the players, they are getting ready for the next lobby already, so of course I can...
Yeah, the thing is, the oversteps, he still did damage in those, but I do not want to give him credit for overstepping. Like, that's just something where the inner color caster in me just kind of like is throwing a tantrum in my brain, right? So I can't really do that.
Of course,
because
yes.
in those oversteps, it was very close to Team Red also following the game. Like, I mean, it looked like a very winnable game for the side of Team Lostik, even pretty late on when they were like down 8,000 gold and almost a soul. It only looked really over like in the last push basically. So I'm just gonna
Yes.
say, while Bogfosbern played a great game, he did make some mistakes that like a Div 3 or higher team would greatly punish, and it could just
Yes.
throw them the game right there.
100%, but yeah. Like, what kind of thoughts do I want to get on the table real quick? I feel like in the jungle, it is kind of you play those I have level 6 and I will kill you no matter what junglers, right? You play Jarvan sometimes, you play Vi with, the ult, you just kill somebody. You play Nocturne, you ult on somebody, you kill somebody. You play Maokai, you use your ult, and yeah, basically, I have to say it again. It's you either flash or you die. You don't have flash, you die. That's basically the statement in jungle right now. I feel like if you ban away Vi or Nocturne, nothing really changes, right? But I feel like the Ziggs angle, for example. What would happen if you just pick Ziggs yourself? Can the opposition or Team Red on red side this time, by the way, can they can they answer with a Seraph maybe, like some high range, or do they just go for an entirely different plan?
I actually think it's a good shot to take away the Ziggs because it's both Dijkser and Mr. Malibu playing the Ziggs, and also Geno on our side is playing Ziggs. So if you just take it away, it's basically a pick and the ban at the same time, so to say. And you just pick the Ziggs so that they don't have Ziggs to like accelerate the turret taking so quickly in the early game to just get these leads. And also, Ziggs also has such good defensive wave clear as well, right? He's just such a good champion all around. Like, he can basically just fix also potentially like double AD topside drafts very easily with the damage split coming in. I really like Ziggs in competitive. If he's like half decent, I think the champion is at least like B tier. Yeah, in his worst day, I think Ziggs is B tier, is what I really want to say about this. Speaking about this, though, you might want to take it away, but you can also just maybe not overforce the second Herald fight so much, because that was completely unnecessary, right? I mean, just give them a little bit of leeway room in the early game. They are stronger then, and if you just don't fight this one Herald, it probably would have been your game anyway, in my opinion. And yeah, just them getting Herald plus a team fight, and then that combined with Herald Charge and Ziggs was just a bit too much. But as you
Definitely,
said,
yeah.
picking up with Ziggs alone fixes a lot of those issues.
Yeah, I think, your blue side this time. Is this even a Ziggs B1 angle? I personally think so. I still have to ask you one question, though, still about last game and about poke.
One thing quickly to that,
Yeah.
they also B1 Ziggs, right?
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah. I think you would just B1 Ziggs, yes.
Exactly.
If
Now,
they don't ban it.
what I have to talk about, like, of course, if you play against a composition like this, it looks super, super frustrating to play against. Again, they couldn't even enter River, right? But I think the entire concept of a poke composition kind of falls apart when you can enter through mid lane. What does it mean? It means you are even or even ahead. So, do you think this can still outscale when you're like even, or do you need to be ahead on a harass poke comp to really make it look oppressing like this?
I mean, you just know it poke versus poke basically, and the one ahead is just so much famous because poke comps generally tend to, do I just say the mean word? They tend to be less than optimal from behind, I gotta say. So it looked worse than it actually was. I mean, I remember you speaking about it in the mid game, where they were like 4,000 gold ahead, and we were like saying it feels like a 10,000 gold. That was basically what it was. It could have been a bit more salvageable if there was like more wave clear on the side of Lostik, and considering the date these on it bows, it wasn't that much. But I mean, you can't just adapt your item build mid game. That would be very, very awkward. So it was basically just pull with Kuki, mostly just saving it. And this is something I don't like. We are banning away the Ziggs on blue side. This kind of shows insecurity, right? This is what I don't want to see. It could, however, mean, considering we banned the Ziggs, that we actually picked Tahm Kench early.
I see. Yeah. Oh, I don't like this Ziggs ban, as you just said. But hey, what can you do? It's I'm always thinking about the discussions behind the scenes, with teams where like, hey, can we flex Ziggs on mid lane and ADC?
Jarvan is open. So yeah, to interrupt you.
Of course. little bounce in right there. Jarvan is a guy. I mean, he got nerfed though. Is he still really that broken? His Q cooldown on high ranks got nerfed, and that is an interesting pick. I thought it's just going to be a hover, but indeed, Syndra taken, and Syndra is she good against Jarvan? I don't think so.
I think she's not, and it was Q cooldown is nerfed up to 2 seconds in the late game, and it's like 0, 0.5, 1, 1.52, 2 seconds more than before. I think it is a nerf, it matters a little bit, but he's still very, very strong. Like, he got nerfed from S plus tier to just S tier, I think, and yeah, I mean, Team Red capitalized on that one. They just picked the Jarvan as soon as they get the chance, and gotta say though, I don't hate the Syndra first pick because Poe with Cookie in general just played so well on the Syndra in the first game. And also, in my personal opinion, I think Syndra is almost conceptually broken as a champion because he just has such good abilities in the late game to delete basically anything on the map, be it a squishy champion or be it a top in time Kench. Unleashed power with all those sticks is just broken in my opinion.
Yeah. So, of course, the Syndra was also picked really, really early in the last drafts, but I'm still a bit flabbergasted by it being picked so early. And okay, I see where this is going. Guys, I haven't said anything. If you know one thing, do you know about Boom's Viego?
No, did you tell me beforehand about it?
No, but it's okay.
I think
you know? It's a tale, it's a myth, it's a legend.
Okay.
Like, I'm a Viego enjoyer, right? And I feel like sometimes if you make Boom angry and he's like, nah, don't give me the like 100% meta stuff, give me Viego, he usually performs. You know, Viego is really hit or miss, and somehow Boom seems to hit most of the times, and of course it all seems to come together now because, hey, you need burst damage with Viego, you just first pick Syndra. So in this context, I start to like the draft from Lostik.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry to say that. It looks a bit like ego drafting to me, you know, right? Because not just because Viego cannot be spelled without ego, but because he's also like such an egoistical champion in general, and they are also locking in the S-Wheel. But S-Wheel in general, compared to traditional hyper carries, just turn out to be like a P-shot, because he, even if he hits all the mystic shots, but he just deals less damage than the Jinx would do on 2 items. So it's something, it's really hard to execute on the side of Team Lostik. Gotta say though, Geno is very confident on S-Wheel in general, I gotta say. I think I remember him playing S-Wheel over the years in the Prime League scene. And S-Wheel also tends to do decent against Jarvan just because of his nature, where he can just Arcane Shift out of a Cataclysm or just Arcane Shift out of the Flag and Drag combination, which makes it hard for the Jarvan to basically pilot his own champion. So he has some value in that sense. But I'm a bit worried about the side of Team Lostik because it looks a bit egoistical. They pick strong champions, but the strong champions don't really like do anything together.
I mean, Quincy, with all due respect, I usually don't disagree with my colorcaster, but still, I'm a Viego player. I like.
Yeah, I know that.
Really like
it hurts.
Syndra. It is basically the best mid laner to pair up with the Viego right now. You know, from all those classic mid lane options. I have to agree, the S-Reel feels a little bit random, but maybe it was just a comfort pick or something that was fitting in really well. So of course we have to see how this entire draft evolves, and I feel a bit lost because a ban is missing there.
Yeah, how the ban evolves or devolves, I gotta say, because I mean, missing a ban on this level of play. I mean, Team Red just now got the invitation, right? They won game 1, it kind of got gifted to them, and they are already starting off strong in the second draft already, and they drop the ball and miss a ban. And they are the underdog for sure, and I'm not sure if they actually deserve this chance. I mean, this is like one of the things that kind of separates the strong teams from the not so strong teams, right? Where you kind of just are that dick that actually just grabs the win away from you, and Team Red needs to be that disgusting person that actually does it right now. And losing a ban kind of tells me that they might just not be able to the task and might just make it a 1-1 when they could have their big day today in just getting the 2-0 upset against Lostik. This ban miss is something I really hate to see, actually.
Well, that's a lot of talk when it was probably, I mean, my head is like, it was probably just the league client being weird again. Who knows? Maybe they already wrote to the coaches what ban it is or whatever. But yeah, it might.
Maybe this.
yeah, it might also be the top laner shaking a little bit because he realizes he's not going to see his beloved Tahm Kench anymore. He's also not going to see the Fiora anymore, and that means he picked the Ornn for himself. And now, of course, where I'm going with this, Garen for Frolimo against Ornn. Will this look kind of the same, or will this be totally different on top lane?
I hope it's different, because this is just now Frolimo. He needs to perform right now. He just now got destroyed as Ornn against Tahm Kench. Now he's playing into Ornn, and he got to counterpick the Ornn with everything but Tahm Kench and Fiora. And it's of course not exactly the mirror matchup. Okay. Also, maybe Aatrox would be nice, but yeah, he could have picked something like a Jax or a Camille or Vladimir if he's that kind of guy, and then just went from there. But he just now picks Garen. It will probably be Ignite Garen, and this is one of the easiest matchup for Garen to play. If he now gets destroyed again, he's really getting skill gapped in this series, and that's something that he probably not hopes to happen, especially if he's on the favorite team. And now, it's just not that, right? He gets the counter pick on top lane, now he has to perform. He needs to be at least a bit ahead of the Ornn in the mid game to really justify his pick, and I think he can do that personally. I mean, definitely Garen is somebody that has to do it, and I think he can perform on this one. But let's remain silent on this matter for now and see if he can do the talking on the Rift.
Yeah, for sure. It is Hammer against, I don't know, the Demacian Justice on the top lane, or like Freljordian Forging against Garen Spin to Win, you know. The Mage Seeker, the Mage Hater, while using some magic for himself. A hype matchup for sure. And now in the jungle we have the literal king of the Ruination against a random soldier from Demacia. I mean, yes, he has royal blood and stuff, but, you know, the thing is, the in-universe power level is not really something that matters on the Rift, because, quite frankly, I personally think Jarvan is the better meta pick compared to Viego right now, right?
I mean, he absolutely is, right? I mean, Jarvan gets nerf after nerf and is still kind of broken and just now address it, but you got nerf from S plus to probably S tier right now, with the Q getting 2 seconds more of a cooldown late game, assuming he builds no ability haste and this champion builds Black Cleaver, Godwinker and whatnot, or maybe even Shojin. Like, this guy will have a lot of ability haste either way, so it will not be full 2 seconds more on his Q cooldown, so good luck with that one. Viego, however, I mean, assuming Jarvan doesn't really hit his combo, right? In a straight up stat check duel 1v1, Viego destroys Jarvan pretty easily, right? No matter what item build Jarvan goes, unless it would be like maybe Assassin Jarvan, then you can maybe just one-shot dunk the Viego, but that's very unrealistic, as Viego himself had some decent tankiness, and I just now thought with the assumption that he misses his combo, so Viego basically destroys Jarvan anyway in a duel. If there actually happens to be a duel, which the Jarvan should of course avoid, he should just play for teamfight. Either way, red side draft on red side this time. Now with some decent counter picks, right? You have the Echo against the Syndra, the Braum against the Nautilus, which gives a lot of protection to the Jinx in general, and yeah, it won't just be enough to just hit the R button from Nautilus onto the Jinx to really just kill her. It is just a lot of coordination required. Boom needs to pop buff this game as long as Poe with Cookie, and I hope Geno can really justify his Ezreal pick, and Ezreal, at least in the laning phase, right, can still like poke out the Jinx if he finds good angles with his Mystic shots, so there's at least something to play around. And also, I addressed it enough, like with Frolimo on the top lane, he absolutely has to win his lane.
I have an actual question, Mr. Quincy. So, I mean, you said you don't really know bot lane too well, but you probably know what happens if you are Syndra. You see a juicy Jinx and you decide to press all your buttons on the Jinx, you know, have the mouse over the Jinx model, press all the buttons in the correct order. Now Braum stands there and says, "Stand behind Braum," and uses his shield. So the ultimate will not deal any damage. The W, I think it will also not deal too much damage. So basically Braum can block almost all the damage from Syndra, right?
I mean, you can't block the Dark Spheres on the ground. Yeah, they are like coming from the bottom, so they shouldn't be denied. And also, like, you block with the Braum E, you block the first instance of any projectile coming in, and anything afterwards is not fully blocked. So assuming like you have like 100 stacks on the Unleashed Power, and you actually drop them below threshold, the Braum still just plops up. So I could see a situation where Braum just heroically jumps in to save the Jinx and then just dies himself instead of the Jinx.
I mean, that'd be kind of funny, right?
It's actually kind of like in the Gods video, it's basically what Carrier does for Deft.
Yeah, that is,
Literally.
that
He's
would be
playing
kind
it.
of funny, yeah.
Showmaker Syndrome this one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so guys, Team Red with a really great game one and a huge upset, but now it is time to go into game number two. There we are. It is Lostik on blue side this time, and they have kind of a different draft. They have a different game plan. While Bockwurst Bernd is not on the frog anymore to bring terror across the entire rift. No, he's on the Forge God Ornn, and I'm hopeful that he will not have the same impact as he had in the first game.
Yeah, it's hopefully not. He will have some minimum impact as soon as he hits like level 14, right? Because he can upgrade one of his teammates' items and more so. So, yeah, Josie side, he will probably have decent impact no matter what. But let's wait and see how this lane phase will play out. As I expected and predicted to some extent, it is an Ignite Garen, so he absolutely plays to win this lane really hard, as he should on the Garen. Otherwise, you won't really pick Garen here. And Garen, Q, E, Ignite, plus the Martian Justice would just be the kill comp later on. He doesn't really care how tanky his enemy is. I mean, he still just deals decent damage with it, no matter what. And that's what he's probably going for here. And I mean, I'm just very excited to see this mid jungle duo, especially. Right? Viego, he's also very snowbally, right? If he gets one reset in a team fight, he can do a lot of work. If he doesn't get a single one, he's probably just like a worse Master Yi or something, where he doesn't really provide most of his value. So sorry to flame your champion, but
Crincy.
I'm a young player. I need to hate on the Wound King.
Crincy, you get this all wrong. The thing about Viego is, the more behind you are, the better you are. Because if you get one kill and the enemy team is super ahead, then you are
economy, yeah.
the ahead. You know that's the thing. You can never tilt on Viego because if you die, you just made yourself stronger at a later stage of the game. You know, that is the trick that I use. Of course, I don't think Boom is that wise. You know, he's still really young. You know, and he was not taught by the wisest, oldest masters in the world. So, but of course that. The thing is, it sounds kind of memey, but it is kind of true. Like at least a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit in the sense of when you still need to be like enough in the game to at least like get the first takedown, right? Because otherwise you're kind of screwed. I mean,
exactly.
If you just deal 100 physical damage with Heartbreaker, you can't really get the resets, and then if you never get resets, you never get really like the gold from the enemy team. So you need to be like at least a little bit into the game. That's like the funny thing around that. As however, what I just saw top lane, something that I didn't like to see, was the Garen from Falimo very early on losing some lane control against the Ornn. That's something I hope not to see again. Gotta say though, Garen has a very good passive, Perseverance, to really just heal up as soon as he's not in a fight for a few seconds. He just heals significantly more than any other champion.
Yes, he kinda has a, what do we call it, mini Warmux just in his passive slot, so that is something to always keep in mind. And of course, Frolimo, it is not his first rodeo on the Garen, so he should be comfortable enough to play against this Ornn. Again, that's the thing that I meant, right, with the imbalanced balance, where you don't really know how to play against Tahm Kench, you never played against it, but now against the Bockwurst Bernd on the Ornn, you should really have some routine on this matchup, you know. And talking about routine, also both junglers are just doing the most basic thing to do in the early game. They are just full clearing, taking Scuttle on their side, and now resetting. And never mind, just as I mentioned it, Boom has to kind of secure his top laner's wave here so he can safely shove out, and I hope Frolimo goes for a reset now.
Probably has to, right? I mean, waves now being pushed in, that was part of the purpose of this gank, and now Buffers Bernd, he tries to hold somewhat of a freeze and he gets very punished for it. Flash Ignite, but he probably will stay alive.
He was not in the range for his Q, and now he will be the first one to die. Oh my god, Boom, he gets another one here, but it is a double kill for Team Red on red side. Star General with a kill, and Bockwurst Bernd with a kill, and Frolimo has no TP.
Yeah, he has no TP. That's kind of the disadvantage of playing Ignite Garen in general, right? And that was kind of an ill-fated dive. They really tried to so hard to really force his wave in and got punished for it. Also, gotta say props to the side of Team Red to really like read this play, Jarvan being around for it one, and also a very good mechanically executed counter gank by him to flash in this QE combination on the Jarvan, so it will actually lead to those 2 kills. And also credits to Boom, I gotta say, because he still at least got like the best of the worst situation, right? We're still getting at least 1 return kill, and getting some gold for himself, which means that he still is on the Noon Quiver, so he at least like has some gold value for it and has a very healthy clear in general.
Exactly. I also had a quick look at the gold here, and not surprisingly enough, both junglers are the richest players right now in this game. I, of course, expect this to change over the next few minutes, you know, but hey, maybe some of them can extend this gold lead, maybe some of them can find some more kills, and if that is the case, then this game might as well be over before it really started.
Yeah, might be the case. Gotta say though, also diese decent hope that this game, like last game, right, Poe with Cookie, I mean, he didn't end up really turning the game around or carrying it, but he was really good at really keeping Lostik in the game, and this could happen again this time. Gotta tell you, this game, Team Red has a very good, decent composition to really prevent that. Echo in general is so strong against Syndra right now. He already was like a traditional Syndra counter, and it got even worse with Syndra losing a strong laning phase, because before it was this like Syndra really bullying out the Echo pre-6. Now with Syndra being more on the scaling side, she doesn't really win hard at this point anyway. So all these melee counters against the Syndra, the Sylas, the Akali, and also the Echo are really just even better Syndra counters.
That is true, of course. Now, talking about the Echo as well, you basically mentioned everything. I have not seen Echo in quite a while in competitive, but it is such a well-known counter. Maybe you practice it a bit in scrims and then you decide to, hey, let's bring it out on the big stage. Because again, I'm telling it again and again, Team Red, they want to level up. They want to get every single win and every single edge they can get somehow. And honestly, they are doing a fantastic job. And also talking about getting every single edge. Now, of course...
Boom!
Boom!
With a mini-map.
Yep.
He was a bit on the enemy jungle. And now, surprise, he's here!
Now. Yeah, with the red buff he can slow Bockwurst Baron, but Frolimo is not really in range. He has nothing, but it is still going to be enough damage. Frolimo is finally making use of the Ignite. And I just wanted to praise Ocean Dragon all over the moon, but hey, I'm not really too sure with all the normal dragons, you know, not the soul, but like the individual dragons getting a nerf. Is it still worth it to take an early Ocean Soul? Ocean Dragon, Jesus.
I mean, if you play to rush for soul anyway, you don't really have a choice, right? But in general, I get like your point. Ocean Drake in general was only very strong in the early game, and with individual drakes being nerfed, I think it's just kind of not really doing much. So it's basically just a stack for the soul, which is kind of disappointing. I personally also didn't think that they needed to nerf individual drakes. They were like in a fine spot in my opinion. Maybe like the mountain one was a bit on the stronger side in general, and the other ones, they were just kind of there. And Ocean Drake early, it was decent, but also not really game breaking or anything. So maybe hefty nerf in that fight, but it was not really called for. Either way, we just know the Rift Herald being done by the side of Team Red, and this time, maybe it is Lostik learning from last game, not contesting it at all, respecting that their power spikes aren't really that good right now.
Yes, definitely. So I think it was on a patch where Riot decided to just get some tempo and some snowballing out of the game. What did they do? They reduced like Herald, I think, 100 gold, you know, instead of 300 it is only 200 for the guy that kills it. You have, again, dragons that are basically worth less, not completely worth less, but, you know, worth less. And platings as well.
2 words.
Exactly. So, in this game, this is basically an advantage for our Lostik squad. Because, as you said, they are learning from the first game. And they are giving up some of the early game. I mean, well, on top lane, Frolimo, he's not having a good time. A beautiful flash, though, by Frolimo. Wow! That was much needed. I saw him dead already, but he got out of there, and yeah, that's what I mentioned. Now, look at the gold. Lostik is ahead.
They are. And that was a very good fight by Frolimo. I just gotta give credit where credit is due. And also, building 2 ultimates and surviving for a flash seems kind of fine already. Now Boom in the bot lane, he's exhausted, but not for long.
Boom, with no flash. Oh, he's trying to go for the blind flash, but he will get punished for it instantly. Now, Dijkster, he has his chrono break up, so he might look low, but he is not as low as he seems. But of course, Mr. Malibu having to flash out of there. Sandov will tank the Super Mega Uber Hydra Death Rocket. You see, I like the adjectives, right?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you just add some more. I mean, the longer you cast, the more adjectives the words will you have. Be it Ziggs with his name or Jinx with this one. Actually, it's sad that we don't have a melee in this game, right? Because his Ultra Mega Fire Kick, his Q ability, would also get like some new adjectives. I would be very curious to see which one you would come up with in the heat of the moment. Either way, we just now also saw. Yeah, Boom kind of forcing it a little bit hard. I mean, I kind of felt him though. Like, I mean, I also thought the play in my head that you as a Vega player probably did as well, right? With him just getting the takedown on the bomb, then resetting off of him, and then maybe even getting onto the Jinx with this one, and being surprisingly tanky for a few seconds. Either way, they outplayed it. Dykes with a very good follow on his side. And Po with Cookie, I also gotta say, like, he also getting some success. Oh my god! Fralimo. That's why you pick Garen, man. That's why he's the one that got to counterpick this time and gets revenge on Bockwurst Bernd.
Yeah, he's already full build, you know, he is on Berserk Reef, so what more do you need? Honestly.
Mortal Reminder. Actually, Mortal Reminder doesn't really build on Garen anymore, but he definitely reminded Bockwurst Bernd of his mortality on this one.
Okay, we really have to go quick now. What will Frolimo buy, by the way? What is his build?
Godwinker components. No, Strikebreaker components.
Ah, dang it, I was ready to see like a rapid fire cannon with Deadmans or something. Wasn't that meta on Garen for a while?
I think not, no. No. Phantom Dancer was meta for a while because he had so much attack speed synergy with his Judgment, with his E. And that's still kind of there, but Phantom Dancer is not really built on him anymore.
Okay, talking about synergy, Sadnov will be sad because he cannot get out here, but Geno will survive. And more importantly, Boom is here to back his team up, but it doesn't really matter. Now Pro with Cookie as well, forcing the flash. That is something, at least on Schmoll Suzy 69 with the big Braum shield doing a lot of work here. Mr. Malibu surviving with just like 10 HP, and no, he dies to the last burn pick. That is so important. And now Boom, he's looking for a play, he's looking for something here. Now on the bottom side, Pro with Cookie fighting against Dijkster, finding him. And meanwhile, Boom fighting against two players from Red. He will die, he will not find the kill, but Pro with Cookie, maybe he can finish up the work that Boom has started. And sadly not, also the True Shot Barrage will not really hit anything. But man, Quincy, what a close fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Power with Cookie getting those stacks. I mean, I may be a bit annoying about this one, but I actually just think it's so valuable with Syndra. And also this Herald just getting no chunk of it all is very valuable for Lostik to really prevent any more turret plate money going over to the side of Team Red. I think Team Red could have just played a bit safe on their side and just went for the Herald charge on a more calm situation, I gotta say. Because usually, like, the first Herald, you shouldn't fumble this one. If you do not get a charge of with the Herald itself loses like more than half of its value. So it's absolutely fine right now that Lostik gave away this Herald in the earlier game. And right now, of course, they are still behind a few hundred gold, which doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And they are down this early Oceans Way. Doesn't also really matter right now. So while the game isn't really going their way in many scenarios, we have seen the top lane right now with the Fralimo getting the solo kill. And also Po with Cookie having a good game again. And Boom slowly fighting in the groove. This game looks a bit more hopeful than the first one does.
I have to fully agree with you, and I also want to break down the items real quick, because everybody has an item except for the ADCs. And talking about the ADCs, Geno is also without a flash. And Quincy, the question that I wanted to ask, would you just give away this dragon, or would you say, hey, Lostik, we are in a spot where we can fight right now?
I'd give it away. It's not really worth the risk right now. I mean, the positioning looks better for the side of Team Red. Also, everything else looks kind of their favor. They also moved away the Ornn from the side of the top lane. They just now can easily just not do what Fralimo does and just trade this Drake for a wave. The Drake is giving away, but they also get the first turret on the side of Lostik, and I think this is a trade deal they are very fine with. No fighting for a few seconds. The Garen gets his gold and also gets like some map control on his side. So there's like a small time window now where the second herald is spawning, which happened just now, and this one looks way more contestable for the side of Team Lostik. Also Geno right now, who's struggling in this series overall, just to complete this Triforce, a very important power spec for the S-Wheel. Now they look much more ready to fight anything.
Oh, definitely. So, yeah, I think we both completely agree on the decision to just trade top lane turret away for the objective. And of course, you said it, Crincy. It also means you get some control over the top side. And this next step, what is the next step? It is to take the objective on the other side of the map. So I think all in all, it is a play where we can be kind of happy with the result. Of course, don't get me wrong. Red stepping up last game was a real joy to see, but hey, you know, we gotta get Lostik into playoffs, so I'm kind of, you know, a little bit biased here, where I want to see Boom survive this, but I don't think I live in that reality, because he just overstepped. He wanted too much. He did not expect 3 people here. Sednov now in a pinch, will not get out of here. Flash used from Mr. Malibu. No sums for him, but man, he got a double kill here for his team, and I think that's something you take. While on the bottom lane, Frolimo is not having a lot of fun. Can he maybe find a kill here? Can the ignite tick be enough? Never mind the shield from Freestar General, just perfect. Getting the needed HP there, the needed shield. But with Cookie will tank the Super Mega Ultra Hyper Deluxe Death Rocket there and just die to Mr. Malibu. And this is so close, but it is good played. Well played by Red.
And just very poorly played by Lostik. I'm sorry to say this, but I mean, it was basically just them giving away 3 kills for free.
Oh,
just having a bonehead play by the side of Boom, just going into the enemy jungle and just getting caught for no reason, basically. And then just also the team just kind of trying to bail him out, but not really bailing out neither him nor themselves, which actually leads in 3 kills to the side of Team Red. And
oh my god, no, don't let it be another one. Of course, I know you want this turret, and Boom, he maybe also wants to save his friends, but just get out of there. Do not let history repeat itself. It is just... I'm not happy with the Lostik squad, and I don't think they themselves are happy either with their performance right now. But hey, what can we say? It is well played by Red. It is a bit... Yeah, what is it, Crancy? Overstaying? Is it the nerfs?
I think it is a bit of everything. Gotta say though, while I was more on the glass half empty side in the last Nautilus point, this just now was kind of justifiable, because I mean it was a Nautilus support death for a turret, and I think that's kind of fine. Because I mean Nautilus, they just died 12 times per game anyway. I mean, what does it really matter? What's one more? And you just get away the mid 81 turret, the most important turret considering the map control. I think getting this in exchange for Nautilus life is completely fair in my opinion. So there's at least something that's worth on their side. Gotta say that considering that they hit the Herald anyway, it might just be a bit unnecessary. Speaking about unnecessary overstays, there's Dijkstra though.
Dijkstra, can he find one? He has no ultimate available, he already used it, and now there is a lot of Lostik in his face, and of course he cannot get out of there. He was, yeah, as you said, he was way too deep, and he still got the top lane turret. Meanwhile, LK Boom, he used the Heartbreaker. He wants to get more shot down there. This is a reset. We have Jarvan on our team, and now LK Boom has to go kind of defensive. There is the Ornn Horn, and they are all in a choke point, and Mr. Malibu, he's going completely crazy. He can find so much damage, but LK Boom finding the kill on the ADC. This is needed, and he, of course, now is the ADC. If somebody can shredder the Ornn, who is it gonna be? Is it going to be Boom? Yes, indeed.
He was Viego again for a few seconds at the end, and he was just the right amount of time being a Jinx and just shredding down all of the Kraken Slayer. So well played by Boom, just assessing the Jinx, preventing them from having an ADC in the chokepoint, and just being that insanely disgusting ADC himself. So well played by Boom. He definitely did not tilt from this early game. I would have understood if he was kind of tilty from what happened in that situation, and maybe for some minutes of the game actually was that one, but this was very clutch played by him. This corridor at the first, benefiting to the side of Lostik, with Syndra really easily hitting a Hurricane of the Weeks, but then Ornn joined the fight, and he of course likes to just hammer away a Forge God into this choke point, so it was then turning into a very good fight by Team Red, but then Boom, being the saving man on this side, definitely clutching it out for his team. Very delightful to see as his third wake just now has arrived. It is a Hextech soul potentially, just like game 1, and both teams want to fight about it.
Sadnov is going to die here, and this is a little disaster. You need to get something in return, else the dragon is gone. Everybody is kinda low, but nobody is dead. Genu missing the mystic shot there, else Mr. Malibu would be history. But now the choke point, it looks pretty good for our Lostik boys. Even though Sadnov is dead, everything is on cooldown, everybody is low on red side. This means they cannot really enter this Porter with Cookie, just showing who's boss. And we want to see, will Freestar General look for a steal here? I don't think he will. And this is really important and really needed. And I can see a certain trend here. Sadnov, more like sacrificial lamb in this game.
Absolutely, and this play was really just basically not really a play in general. I would almost say it was basically just Poe with Key walking up and hitting some QEs, and then everybody on the side of Team Red not only chunked out but also very much intimidated by the Syndra. The Syndra now on more than 100 stacks. You know that she had the delete button. It wasn't good on in this situation, but they might not have known that quite well, as he was very threatening there. It was basically Syndra walking up, especially like Syndra just walking up onto engage, but they were just running away, which is usually something that happens the other way around. But Poe with Cookie definitely showing up in this one. And also now for Lino this game. Like, he chose Hullbreaker second, which I just now see. So as long as he can stay on side lanes, he will be very demanding of pressure from the enemy team. And he definitely can make it life very hard for Bockwurst Bernd right now. He's on the weaker duelist in general, and the Hullbreaker makes it even more easy for Frolimo to really punish him here.
100% here. I like the buy from Frolimo. It is just enough tankiness, you know, and also movement speed. Don't forget about the 5% movement speed. And it forces both teams into a certain decision right now. And the decision for Red will be to just start the Herald. I can toggle the vision real quick. And guys, let's have a look. The Baron Nashor is at 9k right now. And Red turret is destroyed on the bottom side. Meanwhile, no Super Mega Uber Death Rocket for Mr. Malibu. Geno, he could, in theory, heal up a little bit because he does have a red buff, and Red, they actually stopped the Nashor, and this is the only thing that matters here. You do not want to give away the objective here. And
yeah,
again,
just time. I mean, you just now have Frolimo in the side itself, which is ideal for him, right? Or theoretically has DP, but he cannot build DP because the game will just silence him and stop his DP from happening. So Frolimo slowly but surely wins on the side lane, just pushes in with the Hullbreaker, empowers the cannon minion especially, and just makes side lane life hell for the Ornn. Meanwhile, on the 4v4, as long as Lostik is strong enough to just at least prevent the Baron from going down, they are just winning over time, with Garen getting more levels, getting more free stats from the Hullbreaker. Of course, Ornn also gets some free stats with his Living Forge passive for his team later on, but in the direct 1v1 that doesn't help him at all.
Bockwurst Bernd in the bottom lane and Dijkser in the top lane. Both have teleport up, so they decided to go into a 1-3-1 kind of thing, and Frolimo decided to go into mid lane. Meanwhile, both teleports will probably be used here. Frolimo can just find small Zuzi, no supporter, but what we learned, it is not only about the supports. Porter with Cookie finding Freestar General, Frolimo finding the ADC, and that is the important kill here. Porter with Cookie has to flash away, but still Red Dijkser will not find the kill here, and that is what matters. Sadnov with a beautiful hook here will not be able to CC Echo enough, because, you know, this guy is just hella fast. Bockwurst Bernd, he kind of wants to contest mid lane wave, of course, and Frolimo, he does not want this to happen. Now it is kind of the wet noodles fighting, though, you know. This is the top lane that I have in mind. While, yeah.
Don't reduce it to that one, because this is Bockwurst Bernd almost dying, maybe even dying on this one. He's actually closing up to the turret, but if this lane would be a bit longer, if there would be no tier 2 turret and no echo respawning, that would have been a very dead Ornn. I mean, he is the GOAT, but even the GOAT can die to a divine judgment from Demacia. As Frolimo just now hit level 15, the Baron buff also being there. I mean, Baron in general, right? It gives so much XP to the team. This is probably why he hit level 15 just now. Might check to really be sure of that one. This was probably actually the Baron itself. So this just now a catch, a series of catches for the side of Lostik, them getting this quick pick-off on the side of Borm. TP in the backline was coming out from Bockwurst Bernd, but the flanking Ornn isn't that menacing if all the damage is not really hitting at the same time, right? The Bombo combo only really comes to fruition if it's actually paired with the damage part as well. The CC alone doesn't really impress Lostik that much, and that's why that fight resulted in a 3-0 for the side of Lostik, and them getting the Baron as a result.
Exactly. It is still an open game, but Lostik, they are in the driver's seat. But one small mistake like Frolimo getting caught could already be the big difference maker. And Mr. Malibu here on the top side as well to help out his team. So it is 4 members on top lane. The question is, can we do something? Well, yes, we can take mid lane turret, but can we also take more?
Probably not, and I think that's why it's actually a very criticizable play by Farlimo. He was off-think with his team there, the team not really in the position to instantly get a catch on the other side of the map, or even getting more than one tier 2 to it, which they probably would have gotten anyway, and now they are in the numbers disadvantage.
What is happening here? Poro with Cookie getting caught out of position. Setnov also just inside the territory of Red. And yes, we got a lot of turrets, but can Boom somehow get out? The Hextech portal will not really work. Genu dying to 3-star general there. And I don't think that's worth it, my friends. Yes, you got some turrets. You even opened the gate on mid lane, but everybody is just dropping dead now. The Dragon is also just dying and going over to Team Red. So Team Red, they are having the comeback that they need right now.
Absolutely, and that was very unnecessary by the side of Lostik. Farlimo getting caught off thing, also the rest of the team not really doing anything good with the time. Getting this tier 2 to it was something that was basically inevitable, but they felt forced to just go for more, getting, at the end of the day, a full inhibitor to it, but they lose the Drake, they also lose basically every Baron buff. I think only Boom retains it so far. Yeah, that turns out to be true. And this is not enough, right? I mean, you get this Baron buff to really get a huge teaching advantage. And getting Baron buff to then just trade 2 turrets for a Drake and 4 kills to the enemy team does not sound well at all. And it doesn't sound well at all because it isn't.
Indeed it isn't. Frolimo hitting level 16, hitting his 3rd item as well, but all the items of the world don't help you if you are not like on the same page with your team, you know. I know it is quite hard to sync up those minion waves to be on the same spot on a different lane while split pushing, but that's what you actually have to do to be able to... Oh my god, no. I want to talk about split pushing, and Red Dijkster, he's like, hello, do you want to talk about my burst damage? Because I don't even have Robadons, but it is still more than enough to just one-shot Toro with Cookie. So of course now we feel forced, like we have to do something. On Lostik's side, in the mid lane, Star General, no more stopwatchers for him. And of course, you also see Frolimo hunting down and getting the shot down. The fight continues on mid lane. Mr. Malibu, he will not die. Frolimo flashing into the face of the ADC. Schmoll Susie 69 probably being the next on the menu from Frolimo. And this means a lot of kills for our trusty Garen, but Dijkster also opening up bot lane in him.
And Freester's general seems to be getting away with his recall, but there was a very good hero's moment by the side of Farlimo, as heroic as Garen really is right there, and kind of redeeming itself for game 1, getting another solo kill to Bokfrost Baron in a very crucial moment, and also being the one to just flash Beyblade into the Jinx before the Jinx can really get excited in this team fight and just take over completely. So ends up being a triple kill for the Garen, the Hardwicker Garen actually team fighter, which is a bit annoying in that situation. But considering Dijkster not being in this fight, it was actually a very dicey situation then for the side of Team Red, which ended up them losing the inhibitor on their side, while they only got the inhibitor turret on the bot side. So, considering the minion push in general, it is a slight edge for the side of Lostik. I say slight edge because it's the mid inhibitor, which is actually the weakest inhibitor to take, because you lose mid priority if you lose the mid inhibitor, but you fight for mid priority anyway all the time, so it is less of an issue than another inhibitor would be, which would also be further away from either the Herald, either the Baron, or the potential Soul Drake.
Exactly. 2 more minutes. You just talked about the Soul Dragon, and this one is going to spawn in 2 minutes. You also just said, hey, we are going to fight for mid lane priority anyways, and would you look at Geno using his ultimate ability to just do exactly that, and I am a bit worried. Nobody knows where Boom is exactly, but we know he is not there in time, and again, guys, you know me, I just have to check the echo cooldown because it is probably like half a minute, and yeah, 37 seconds. That's just nothing you can always fish for plays like that in that case.
Absolutely, man. It's almost like a basic spell at this point. Gotta say though, he also traded his ultimate for a basic spell, right? It was just a QE from Cinder really being on the other side with the trade-off. He got a little bit of a chunk on Geno because he, I think, used the upgrade Areo pack active. That is actually the all upgrade for Hextech rocket belt. I just gotta say, for those who are not know this one, as I always tend to flex with those ability and item name shenanigans. Either way, Geno now chunked a little bit. Also, the Echo item build in general is very interesting. I gotta say, when Nashor's Tooth to really increases DPS on the Echo, probably for the split pushing also a little bit, once he actually gets backline access to just quickly get off his free auto attacks to proc the Z-Drive resonance damage, which is definitely something that can hurt on his side. A bit less bursty than some Echo builds, and also not something on the tankier side, but definitely something that can be menacing if he gets to hit turrets in this game, which he got away with early on.
A lot of smart talk here from our beautiful co-caster Crincy, and yeah, as you said, I only know all the ultimate ability names and like most basic ones, and meanwhile he knows all the ornament items as well. What kind of madness is that? Nobody ever needs that knowledge, but hey, it makes it easy to talk about the item builds that we have in this game, and the items really seem to matter at this point. Most players are on free items, but Ornn, of course, is a big difference maker here. And you also see the mobility from Red Dykser with his Hextech Proto Belt. Yep, still using that one. While the split
Boomer.
push. While the split push is doing so much, we kind of have to look for the engage. Porro with Cookie, he's flashing out, and would you look at top lane, would you look here? You don't want to let them go back to base, but what is happening here? Porro with Cookie is surviving, but has to reset. Now on top lane, LK Boom, he is looking for a turret, but what then? He has to leave, while Frolimo, will he be the hero of this game and just run into this and just get a quadra kill? I don't think so. Frolimo, I know you're strong, but you're not that strong yet, or am I completely crazy here? He is on 4 items, the dead man's is already there. Now give me the rapid fire Ken.
Yeah, I mean, rapid fire Ken would be very good to really like have a bit more latch range for the Jinx, because the Q from Garen, right, decisive strike actually is a mini dash. It actually makes you be able to dash over small walls, like the Yorick cage.
Talking about Jinx. Jinx might as well be dead here, and she will die. Boom. Finding the reset here. 2 kills here for Lostik's side. Dykser finding the kill onto Frolimo though, getting the shot down even. And this fight is absolutely wild, but as long as Boom has some resets, I truly believe he can just finish this entire thing off. The GA will also not do too much here. Star General, yes, he can get out because of the GA, but he also had to invest his flash, and this is just a... I was just saying, this is just a lose for both sides. Nobody is getting anything, but Boom has to disagree. Will they smell it? Will they smell Nasher? 3-star General, he could look for the 50-50. He doesn't have Smite ready though.
He's not there, he's base, he's defending the super minions. It's only Ornn being around, and the Ornn doesn't have a spellbox Smite. So it's just a free Baron for the side of Lostik, and I said free Baron, I mean, it's actually a hard-earned Baron, let's be honest, because this is a very dicey fight that happened there. Boom being the hero of that one, getting to assassinate the Jinx once again. Actually, Garen also doing like his pre-work on this one with being the Beyblade initially to just soften up the Jinx so the Heartbreaker can actually manage to get the takedown there. And then, of course, Boom, as the Jinx himself, like being this other hyper carry that they kind of needed. Because Genu, I hate to be this blunt about this, but I kind of have to be, because it was half off-screen, but he kind of into that last team fight a little bit, where he was arcane shifting into the Echo and then instantly dying. He was seeing a kill that we didn't see, and also apparently Team Red didn't see, and the reality of the game didn't see, which kind of was unfortunate for him. But speaking of about Geno, he's also had a very important power spike in general. He's on the Sevilda's Grudge, so every mystic shot he hits not only softens up the target due to the armor penetration, he also always applies those stacking slows. It's almost like they have the Hextech soul as well.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. That is a really good point. It feels like they have the Hextech Soul as well on the side because of the Serildas, and on top lane we might see one of, or not like the final fight, one of the final fights, maybe the final fight. We are at 33 minutes in this game, guys, and it could go on for much longer if we see some more fights, where like both sides just die and will respawn after that. But if you get one clean winner, or like one clean fight where Garen is allowed to split push, then this game could be over in just a blink of an eye. So, guys, you clearly cannot imagine how nervous those players have to be.
Yeah, and Team Red basically has to do like a macro genius performance over here, and getting that the miracle fight.
3-star General finding the engager and trading 1v1 Red Dykser, finding the kill onto the Syndra, but of course Freestyle General had to die for this, and meanwhile on the bottom lane, Frolimo, he's looking for some turrets, he's looking for the split push impact, and now the entire remaining team is here to just turn back on him. But of course Genu can now crack open top lane. LK Boom has to run away here, no super mega death rocket for Mr. Malibu to throw out into Boom's direction, and I might as well say this is a good play for Lostik.
Absolutely, it is just so easy. I mean, I hate to just tone it down to this one, but Halbig is just so disgusting in the late game, especially with Baron up. There's a Baron empowered, Halbig Garen also empowering the super minion to make that even tankier and even more deadly, and they can just split apart Team Red so easily with it. Garen just demands these two people of attention over there. They all can't really stop him anymore, and while he's busy fighting two people, even if the fight isn't going ideally on the other side, there's still like enough room for Geno to take this top lane tier 3 turret on this side, and while it was still like Freestyle General getting a good pick off onto Poe with Cookie, he has to trade his own life for this one, so it wasn't really favorable for the side of Team Red in that regard anyway, and this is why it's such a hard market test for them, because the Garen just demands so much attention for free basically. He has so much free sets from the Hullbreaker, and it's basically just almost a 6v5 at this point.
Garen with a lot of pressure, so yes, Frolimo had a hard time against the Tonkench in the first game, but man, is he stepping it up with the Demacian Executor in the second game. Frolimo on the Garen, putting on a hell of a show. And what does it mean for the side of Red? They need to handle him, and as you beautifully put it, Mr. Akrive, it is a tough one. You cannot just let Bokforce Bernd fight against him. So what do? You need to find some catches, you need to find at least one good engage to get a net positive trade, and then you are kind of back on the map for a few seconds, or like maybe even an entire minute. But talking about an entire minute, it is 50 more seconds until the Elder Dragon spawns.
That is true. Either way, I'm not a quiet, just a small correction on this one, as Frolimo is right now correcting the top lane score.
Top lane. The fight is raging on. Geno is still alive, and I'm looking at him because he has to dish out the damage as all his teammates are dying. Boom at least tries to get the inhib, but nope, he will not find it. And yeah, Geno is alive and well, but that's the problem. He did. I mean, okay, you have to tell me now, Mr. Crincy, is he not getting in range, or is he just not having the damage here? Because I'm a bit underwhelmed. I was expecting for Geno to just do a lot more there.
He doesn't really have the damage yet. He needs a Ravenous Hydra apparently to really finish his 4-part. This is kind of the SP problem in general in the meta, but he's kind of a pre-shooter compared to an AD carry. As long as he doesn't hit like every missing shot ever, his damage is just less relevant than something that has like an exponentially
going for the Beyblade move here. No more stopwatch, but can he find the finishing move? Genu also trying to help here. He will just die. Frolimo is against the world, and he will not get in range here. Mr. Malibu on the Jinx, just staying alive. Frolimo cannot get into range for his R button, and this means this is Elder Dragon, and I'm not sure. You said... What did you say? Like earlier, you said we need a masterclass in macro right now. Do you think that's what we saw on Red side?
I think it's a bit of that and a bit of Team Lostik choking. I'm just gonna be completely honest on this one. They have it on a very easier side, but they kind of humble the execution so much because they just kind of try to mash their head into the enemy base turrets, and it didn't work the last few times. There's only one Nexus turret standing on the side of Team Red, and it's still apparently enough to really hold on to this small thin line where they are still playing this game out. Gold basically dead even right now, and gold not really mattering anymore. Actually, the ornaments right now are probably something that matters a lot more than any kind of 1k gold swing one way or the other, because like, the difference between the ornaments makes more out of it. And the hyper carry difference against what Geno really provides right now is also something that definitely hurts Team Lostik right now, and they are still not really comfortable in really playing this team but in a 4v3 or 4v4 out, and that is why even with Frolimo having such a monster performance, it's not enough. Like just now this fight, right? It looked like an easy catch onto the Jinx, but still like the stopwatch and her positioning on her own, as well as the team really peeling for her, made it impossible for both Frolimo to really fight her, as he's a melee champion, and Geno had to arcane shoot offensively to try and kill her, and also he failed on this part, so it was a very easy fight for sort of Team Red to play out. And now they have Hextech, so they have Baron, they have Elder, they have everything they could ever possibly hope for. And this is now their time window to really break open this game and make it a 2-0 for them as the upset win here.
Oh, definitely. Man, is it such a close one? And yet we have Nashor, we have Elder Dragon, we have so many things that you just mentioned on the side. And Freestyle General, he does not want to wait, he wants to just finish this thing. He finds the ADC Genu being dead for more than enough here. Teleport being used from the Ornn to just get the minion to stay alive. And of course it is just too much. Small Susie dropping low, Dykes are dropping low as well. But this is the finish, and this is the huge upset that we are seeing in this game. Quincy, I'm absolutely speechless, but man, GG's to Team Red. They really stepped it up and they brought in 2 games, 2 solid games, 2 good drafts, gameplay, everything, and they just won this thing 2-0.
I mean, absolutely, right? Was just something where we just have to congratulate them. I mean, good draft, you said that, good execution also. I mean, I was speaking about it, right? They had to play against this late game Halbecker Garen. It needed to be a macro masterclass by them and also playing it well in the micro, really finding these clutch engages, playing a bit smoke and mirrors against the competition of Team Lostik. And Team Lostik kind of got robbed away in the situation. Their win was basically in their eyes already, and Team Red kind of stole it away, got a Thezo fair and square instead of Team Red. And now Team Red, they were last place team. Now they doubled their number of wins. And that by playing a potentially favorite team to lock playoffs.
What a beautiful, beautiful day for Red fans, and what a horrible day for Rain if you are a Lostik fan. But this is just the reality that we are in right now. It is a 2-0 win for Red. Again, we can only congratulate them. They played it really well. But Quincy, what does this mean for our future in the Division 4.1, I think it is? You said it is Lostik is a potential playoffs candidate. How likely is it still for them to get there? I think you need like a lot of stars to align right now.
Yeah, let me just quickly check the group. I need to process this information in my brain. It's looking still not too hot for Team Red, I gotta say though, despite their hot performance right now. But they are on a 4-8 score right now. Lostik is 5-5 for example, so only 1 win ahead of them for now. We have, of course, in all fairness, Lostik having played 1 series less than they did. And I mean, there is not really one completely clean team in this group, so basically everything is possible. I think Ace Gaming Spades is like almost impossible to really come ahead of. I think, yeah, for Team White it's actually mathematically impossible, as Ace is already on 10 wins and they only play 1 more series. White can't really take over them, but theoretically they can still make 2nd place. I think it's very unlikely still, and they need very hot streaks and also like some help from the other teams for that situation, but it's not impossible for them. And for Lostik, it's all up in the air, right? 10 games in total played, they won 5, they lost 5.
Yep. Thank you for that small reminder how it works. The thing is, Ace still has to play against Lostik, and some people even wrote me like, if Lostik still wins everything, they are fine. But yeah, it is already super weak. They have 2 more
Just win
games.
everything, lol.
Yeah, just win everything, lol. Faker advice, right? I gotta be honest, even, we talked about interviews, and honestly, I cannot be mad at everybody where they said, hey, we don't really want to have an interview right now. We are a little bit, unhappy with our performance today,
Understandable.
That is completely understandable. Yeah, I just wrote with the players. But yeah, basically, the thing is, if Lostik goes 4-0, they have a safe tiebreaker for 3rd. And if they go 3-1, they have a potential 4th place, but then it is up to the other players. So yeah. As you said though, there is no clear favorite in this group so far. And as we saw today, everybody can win against anybody. So this group just keeps on giving. And guys, I hope you had a wonderful time watching. I know we had a lot of feelings today, and probably a little bit of heartbreak as well, because yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they played Bego, of course. There were a lot of heartbreakers in this game.
Damn it, sir, what is... Yeah, but You got me there. You got me there. Either way,
You
guys.
can't not give me one chance to flex with ability names. You knew how it would end.
100%. Yeah.
Either way, all the jokes aside, I want to say one thing. Despite the loss of Team Lostik right now, and them just now going Jose Mourinho mode and being like, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble, and that's why there's no interview. Those were fun games to cast and fun games to watch as well, I gotta say. Like really, from the bottom of my heart. Especially the second game, right? That was a banger game. It was so fun.
100%, guys. Banger games from both teams. And again, who lost the series? Who won the series? Well, Lostik lost the series, sadly. Red won the series. But of course, the viewer also won the series. And that's the most important thing. So, guys, I can only tell you, follow this beautiful man on my right. Just Crincy on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer. Follow me. And of course, follow Lostik to be there for the rest of the Super Week. We have another game on Friday. We have another game on Sunday already, and there it will be decided. You heard it here. You know, for me, as a closing word, Crincy, it is maybe a 3-2 moment, you know, where you needed a slap to the wrist to realize, hey, we really have to play our A game, play our S game maybe, some might even say. And if they got the slap the right way and they take some energy out of it and not let it drag them down, I am 100% certain that we will see more banger games, and I'm 100% certain that Lostik can still win it all. Yes, even against Ace Spades. They are like, what, 10-2 right now in the groups, and they only have the matchup against Lostik left. But hey, it is just a warm-up arc right now. So guys, with those words, I want to give the last few words to Crincy. And I'm gonna say bye-bye for today.
Sometimes you need a slap on the wrist, and if the slap on the wrist is not enough, you need a kick in the butt. And that's maybe what Lostik got today, and that's perfectly fine. Still is not over yet, and job's not finished. Everything is still possible and still within control, so enjoy the upcoming games. There's still a lot of bangers in the Prime League week, because I mean every remaining game has to be played this week aside from tiebreakers, so yeah, tune into every single game. Bye bye.